You're watching The Whole Living Show on Trajectory TV.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Whole Living Show. And boy, do we have a great show once again for you. And I won't give it away. I won't spoil it. But a very beautiful woman has come back to grace us with, I'm not going to tell you just yet. Stay tuned in one moment. But I have some other things that I wanted to discuss with you before we bring in our amazing guests. So first thing I wanted to talk about is there are reports out there that they are now bringing together meat byproducts with a substance, what they are now calling meat glue, and is a synthetic glue, and it is quite toxic. And in the video that I saw on this meat glue, the person that was demonstrating what the meat glue actually does had on a mask, told the interviewer of this video to put on a mask. And he said, why am I wearing a mask? We're handling food. Why am I wearing a mask? And the person said that it is very toxic. So it's a glue out there that takes different byproducts or parts of meat to bring them back together in order to, kind of conserve all of the cuts of meat that are out there that kind of get put to the wayside when, meat is being cut up and chopped up in order to give you pieces to go to restaurants and to grocery stores, etc. But they take these parts of the meat and they start to stick it back together with this meat glue that when you look at the final product, it looks like the fat of the meat, but it's not. It's synthetic. And if you notice, if you're taking, and it's steak, it's chicken, it's pork, so it doesn't really matter what meat you're purchasing. It can be any of them. But when you look at this so-called fat, which is now they're calling meat glue, you can take it and you can see like the fat on the side of the meat and pull this thing apart. 9 times out of 10, it may not be real fat. So I wanted to share that with everyone, just to tell you what to look out for when you are in the grocery stores, when you are at restaurants and you are consuming meat. If you're in a restaurant, ask questions about where they get their livestock from. If you are at the grocery store and you are unaware, ask at the grocery store as well, especially if they are not labeling the meats with this meat glue on it, which I don't think that they are. So I wanted to mention that. Always want to make everyone aware of what's out there and what to look out for, but just so we can be responsible about how we take care of our bodies and so that we can decrease the amount of toxicity that we are putting in our bodies if that's not what we want. So I wanted to share that with you. In other news, there's news out there today, and I'm so sad to report this, but just wanted to, give my thoughts and prayers to the beautiful people of Atlanta who lost both 2 students and 2 teachers at a high school in Atlanta. I wanted to share that happened today, and 9 other people were also injured. So just wanted to just have our hearts go out to them. There's so much going on in the world. And which is why my beautiful guest is here, because she's so focused on helping make things better. But I wanted to just, talk to people about, taking a look. It was a 14-year-old shooter in this particular instance. And I wanted us to really pay attention, one, to our children who may be suffering from something or going through something. And those are things that we need to pay attention to. And, no fault to the parents. Sometimes you just don't know. But we just need to pay attention and stay aware and try to figure out what's happening with our children so that we don't get to the point where a 14-year-old is thinking about going to school and shooting someone. Never a good thing. It hurts. It hurts to hear it. It hurts to see that this is happening. It hurts that lives were lost. So I just wanted to say my heartfelt prayers and thoughts out to the people of Atlanta who are dealing with the incident that happened today. So just wanted to mention that. And then I wanted to talk to you about something else. I was on a call with a friend today, and I was sharing with her that my son was going through something. And when I shared it initially, I said, he's sick. And she is very much into holistic practices. So she started to give me some really great advice about things to do, things that could help. But what she also sent back to me in a text message was, to be careful about, how I am expressing what is happening, as particularly with that 4-letter word, the word sick. And I stopped for a moment as I read her text message and I said, yeah. And I took a moment to meditate and to pray on it and then to breathe it in and release it, because I said to myself, I don't want that type of energy around me and my son. And I need to be more intentional about how I use my words with things, because I don't want to bring about that type of energy around us. Yes, he is going through something. However, I don't want to call for anything bad either. And I really believe in energy and how we put things out there and how we can get those things back. So I'm really big on that. So I had to take a moment and stop. And you know what? I didn't even realize, to be perfectly honest with you, because I need to be really transparent about this. I didn't even realize until she called me out on it that was the word that I used, because I was so focused on telling him, let's change our thoughts. Let's change the language that we use. Let's be positive about this. Let's call for healing. But I had used that word in a text message. And it almost brought me to tears because I said, I don't want that energy for us, you know? And I really had to think about, wow, that came out, it rolled off my fingers so fast when I was texting it, right? Because we are so prone to certain things, right? There's things that have been drilled into us, that word being one of them, right? So it rolled off my fingers so quickly. So I thank her. I want to thank Lulu Lee, my beautiful friend Lulu Lee, for that, because she really just made me think of stop and think and to really be more intentional even about what I'm allowing to roll off, because I don't want that type of energy around me and my son. So I wanted to mention that to people, because what you think and what you say matters, no matter if you're putting it in a text message, if it's thoughts that are in your head that maybe you haven't even spoke out yet, right? And then things that you speak, it really makes a difference. And the energy that you call for is definitely the energy that you will receive back. So let's call for positivity. Let's use words that bring about and help with change, with healing, with transformation, right? So I wanted to mention that, calling myself out on that, but just to help everyone else out there, because sometimes we do these things without even thinking. Sometimes it's kind of subconscious for us. We do it without thinking. So I appreciate you for listening to me on that. I definitely really appreciate Lulu Lee for calling me out on it. So I definitely wanted to share it with everyone else, because I think it's helpful, especially when we are looking to make changes in our life, when we are looking for transformation. And that is why, everyone, we have the amazing Pattie Sadler back with us, because she is very focused on transformation as well. And I said to her, after she was here the last time, I said to her, you know, I love the way she thinks and how I could see her stopping. And this is just what I was talking about just now, but I could see her being very intentional about how she communicates, about how she thinks about transformation and helping people and changing lives. It was all over her. And it's, you know, things don't happen by accident. The fact that this happened to me today, and I had to really, I was being called out on something, and then I'm thinking about, you know, Pattie and how she communicated the last time she was here. You know, these things don't happen by accident, right? So I'm surrounded by some amazing and beautiful women who are very focused on change and helping. So I want to bring back in Pattie. I'm going to, I'll give you her introduction as I have her here on stage. So everybody out there, give her a virtual round of applause. Woo. And that just came to me as I was telling that story. I was thinking about, you know, how you communicated the last time you were here. And I'm sure you probably would have called me on that too.
Because be careful of our language.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So everyone out there, if you missed Pattie the last time, she is the director of publishing for the LA Tribune. She is the founder and CEO of New Life Clarity Retreats, which we are going to talk about, that is going to help you change your life. Pattie also has created New Life Clarity Publishing to add to her passion in sharing voices to inspire others for healing. She is a talk show host, creator of Heart Talks, Savvy Retreat Facilitator, Director of Public Relations in the SOAR Foundation, and President and CEO of NLCP. She truly lives a life with passion and has shown that it is possible to create life-changing results, which she is very focused on. She offers consulting on a comprehensive level, assisting others to manifest their life's vision as authors and influencers for it to become a reality. She's an expert in life-changing and transition. She can assist you to declare just where you are going to create it. So I want to get into this with you today, particularly after my revelation with my friend today, Lulu Lee. So talk about that. Let's start there, you know, because you just said it, right? You know, the language that we speak makes a difference.
When we speak out loud or we speak words, this is what we bring to reality. And our body and our spirit and our soul and our subconscious listens to the language that we give it. So when we talk negatively or we speak in terms that might just be destructive to us, those are the results that we get with anxiety, PTSD, and some of those other things, because our brain soaks that right in. So it's really important to watch our language.
Yeah, I so agree with you there. And talk a little bit about, because when I was thinking about what happened today, I was thinking, that word is just so instinctive, right? You use it because it's what you're used to using, it's what your family uses it. Talk about how maybe we can become more aware of our language, so to speak, and then start to change that.
You know, that's the point of real change, is becoming aware of the things that we say. Because until we're aware of the things that we say, we aren't going to change our behaviors.
Yeah.
So, even in light of the very sad thing that happened today, in terms of the way we speak about it and the way we speak about the individual and everyone else,
Yeah.
it reflects on our whole being. Um, in life in general, I find that if I'm telling myself messages that are negative or not going to work, or, this just isn't going to happen, or, I'm not cut out for this, I can feed all kinds of things to myself, that could turn into self-loathing even. Some people really suffer with depression and anxiety and PTSD, and then they get in their head and they tell themselves these stories. And the stories really aren't true, but they're making them a reality because this is what they're living in. Sometimes healing is a result of the language and the way we talk to ourselves. It's a part of it. It's not all of it,
Yeah.
And as I said before, I'm not a doctor, but there are not only ways to help in those situations with medicine and pharmacology and stuff like that, but it really comes down to how we treat ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And I haven't heard a person yet, right, who talks about full transformation without recognizing what they've needed for themselves first.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So key. And I just want to say this again because I so appreciate this about you. When you're taking those pauses, I can tell that you're very intentional about how you speak and what you say, and being able to, I always call it breathing it in first, right? The way you breathe it in first to really give, I'm going to say a real answer, a real and thoughtful, transparent answer. So I wanted to tell you, I appreciate that about you. Um, yeah, absolutely. So, on a lighter note, just a little bit more fun here, I have to say, because I told you backstage, I love your hair.
But
so,
a little bit.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, for those who may have saw the show last time or saw your picture on the flyer, right? They could see that Pattie has cut off her hair, but it looks beautiful. So,
Thank you.
was there a reason for that transformation?
That was a hard one. I had been growing my hair out for a really long time.
Mm.
And it took me a really like 10, 15 years to get it to grow. And it became an extension of myself. And then as I was coloring it and doing different things, damage happened. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if it was hormonal or something happened, just with my body, and the end started getting really dry. And, I was always taking really good care of my hair. Like, I would not curl it with I wouldn't blow dry it. I would just, all these things that I would do, even with all the caution. It still got to the point where it was like, even on some of these pieces right here, from here on, it was just starting to get really dry. And I felt like it was holding me back and holding me down. Like, this dryness and this unhealthy hanging on me. And it's like, okay, if I'm going to cut it all off, it's going to be really healthy and it's going to have an opportunity to grow. But it's going to also change how I might feel about myself.
Yeah.
Now, in the past, there's been certain things that I've done in my beauty routine that's a little bit vain,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we all have our vanities, right?
Sure, absolutely.
One of those things was getting my eyelashes done all the time. Okay. And I do it, but there was one point when we were going through a little bit of a financial drain, and it was the one thing I had to let go. And I had become so attached to the eyelashes
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't feel like I could go to church or I could go anywhere. I didn't want anyone to see me. I was in self-loathing. I was telling myself all these horrible things about how I just couldn't be seen like this,
Yeah.
And it was a little bit humbling, but I realized too, it was really what I believed. So I had to go for a short period of time during this financial struggle, and I had to get to reacquainted with myself as myself.
That's
The
good.
same transformation came along with my hair. It was an extension of who I was and how I wanted to be seen. But in reality, when you take away the makeup and you take away the eyelashes, you take away the long hair and the vanity of it,
Mm-hmm.
I got to like myself a lot differently.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, so I know that you tackle these things on your retreats. So talk about that part too, like why it's important to like yourself differently, and even, how you got there after you kind of, I'm going to say, stripped yourself of the vanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a shedding of the skin, like
Mm,
skin, how it sheds. And several times during life, we go through different changes in our life that are just natural changes, but they're hard physically and emotionally, especially us women with our hormones and things like that.
yeah.
But we go through different phases in our life where we have to shed something from the past. And this is a constant thing. This isn't just something that happens once or twice in our life. There's the issues that might come up later in life that we didn't quite shed, that we still have to shed.
Yeah.
So, in shedding these things in our lives that we don't really realize until they hit us,
Mm,
um, we're getting new skin. We're getting a new person, like a whole new soul.
yeah.
So when we go through these traumatic changes in our lives, and everybody goes through them different ways, different situations, but
Mhm.
everybody has different things that they go through throughout their life.
Absolutely.
And we're shedding that skin. The older we get, the more we realize who we really are and who we want to become, and the little things that didn't matter. And that's only coming from maturity,
Mhm.
But
Mm.
I also, when I'm working with women, I want them to find the light and find the good when there seems to be none there.
Mm. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
healing can't start unless you start finding the good and the positive and gratitude and those different things that are really the healing mechanisms.
Yeah.
Gratitude is a healing mechanism. And so you have to find the positive. Sometimes you need some direction and someone to help you along the way.
Mhm.
And that's where I come in, is I show people, when we do our retreats and things like this, I show them their strengths and I have them overcome different fears and have them understand, what they're capable of. And that's the beauty of the experience.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. And I wanted to ask you too, like, because we're thinking about the retreats and, you know, at most facets of life, right? Somebody needs change, right? There's always room for change, for more, for, starting to peel back things, right? Like it never stops. And I love that you said that, which is why it's so key that you continue to do these retreats and you don't stop. So, one question there is, who would you say the retreat is for? Like if you had to describe that person.
A retreat is for everyone,
Mm, yeah.
because all of us are at different places and different points in our transformation in our lives. I do retreats for corporate groups, and
Mhm.
they're on a whole different level and a different playing field. But they still grow. I do retreats for women who are coming from incarceration or coming from domestic violence. That's a whole raw situation.
Yeah.
So they're at a whole different learning curve, but they have big lessons to learn that they're going through. So a retreat can be for any person at any level at any time in their life to help them to reawaken and step to the next level in their life.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. So this one, we have one coming up, right?
Yes.
Machu Picchu.
Yes, Machu Picchu is next week.
Yes.
And that one, they're actually going to be heading out in a couple days, so that's really exciting. A really wonderful adventure there.
Yeah.
Going to see Machu Picchu Village. There's a lot that we're going to learn about using percussion and vibration, and they're going to make drums with the shaman and do some things that are going to really help shed some of that skin and help them to heal in other ways. It's very indigenous there, so you've got the tribes and the culture there that's really healing as well, and getting with Mother Earth.
Yeah. And what would you say, because I know you've done retreats there before, give us something that people who have experienced it already, like what's come out of it?
Well, let's talk about my retreats in Costa Rica, because we do a lot of those, and those seem to have a lot more fruit-bearing experiences because we're able to give them an opportunity to have some adrenaline and some experiences that overcome some of their fears. For instance, one of the things we do that when they first get there, the first day is an adrenaline day. And on that adrenaline day, they're going to go zip lining, they're going to horseback riding, they're going to go climbing, they're going to go rappelling, they're going to go water rapiding, they're going to do all these things in a day. And each activity takes about 2 hours.
Wow.
And so, and I mean, like you're going miles of zip lining, not just a little zip lining, but overcoming all of these different things, and so much happening in a day.
Yeah.
That they learn teamwork, working together. They get close as a group, and they have these experiences. And then we do our workshops, and we do classes, some art classes where they do some art therapy. And then we have an evening where we might go out to a special place for dinner and see the culture and do some shopping and things like that. Then we also have another experience where we take them on an ocean sunset cruise. When you're in Costa Rica, you'll never see the sun like that anywhere else. So when we take them out on the ocean, they get to swim in the ocean. I had one gentleman come from Kenya, and he was such a bright light. I mean, he was just a bright light. All you could see on him the whole week that he was there was joyfulness, just joyfulness in everything that happened around, this big smile. And it was really fun because he'd never swum in the ocean before, and he was afraid of that. And when we went on the ocean cruise, we go out away from the beach, and there's this place where we take them swimming, and they actually get in the water, and you can swim around there, and you'll see sea turtles that'll swim with you and different things like that. But everybody has the things that they can rope in and they can actually overcome. And for him, it was just like, he was not only going on a boat, but he was going to have to swim in it. And so when he jumped into the water, and he came up with such a big smile on his face, but he was so scared, and we were all surrounding him, so he wasn't going down or anything like that. But he was so joyful because he overcame that fear. It's really about shedding those fears that we have and knowing what we're really capable of. And there really is nothing that we're incapable of.
Yeah. That's
but
so
realizing
true.
that is the trick.
That's yes. And even talk about the joy, because I see the joy on your face as you're speaking about this gentleman, as he is letting go of his fears. Talk about, because I always say too, like when you're giving someone something, right, and you're so intentional about that, there's so much blessings that you get back that you never would have thought of, right? So even talk about that part of it.
I find time and time again with the people that come to our retreats, they are, they all have something that they're working through. They all need that space, that healing Mother Earth, just whatever it is that they're going through.
Yeah.
And they need something to give them that space to overcome it or be in it or move past it. But he's not the only one. I would say every single guest we have has gone through some kind of a life-changing moment at our retreats that really makes a difference on where they're headed.
Yeah, yeah. So good. So good. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, everyone out there. Do not go anywhere. You want to hear more about Costa Rica, about Machu Picchu, and we didn't even mention another destination, which we'll get into later, but we want you to have the life that you dream of. And one beautiful way to do that is to go on these retreats so you can discover what it is that you need, what you need to move past, and how you propel yourself forward. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Imagine a verdant paradise that stands as a convergence of worlds, a living temple of native wilderness, a place where the full potential of inherent human and earth magic can be seen, felt, and understood. A space that attracts the brightest and best of educators on the leading edge. A place of permaculture designed for the benefit of future generations.
And we are back, everyone, and we are talking about changing your life. But we're here with Pattie Godfrey-Sadler. I'm sorry, didn't want to mix that up, Pattie. But we're here with Pattie, and we are just talking about, changing your life. Pattie does these amazing retreats where you get so much experiential exercises and a lot of teaching and just a lot of discovering, I'm going to say, right, Pattie?
Right.
So we want to talk more about that discovery and why it's so important to really discover. I can remember, and I'll give you a story, and you tell me why it's important to get out of this. But I can remember, I was raised to go to school, right? Go to college, finish high school, go to college, get a good job, got a corporate job. And I can remember just feeling like, kind of like I'm on this, kind of like a Ferris wheel type of thing, right? I'm just going round and round and, just doing what I do. But it was second nature after a while, right? Wasn't even really thought provoking, nothing that I was really having to think about other than the work itself, right? But I wasn't living, wasn't really living. And I didn't even realize that I wasn't really living, right? Until I had to have a major event happen in my life. So talk about why it's so important to do things like your retreats in order to get off that wheel. In corporate America, they call it the hamster wheel, right? But in order to get off of that hamster wheel and live.
The first thing I thought of was hamster wheel when you said that.
Yeah.
The first thing that came to my mind. And we all seem to, in some way or another, there's parts of us that are on a hamster wheel during our life. And sometimes it's very unfulfilling. Yeah. We aren't doing anything. I liked what you said, thought provoking, because we're just doing this thing every day that's like a mechanical joint just going around and around, But what's really important is taking time for yourself to step out of that. Put your feet in the sand, touch Mother Earth, go outside and put your feet in the grass, and feel the sun and get some vitamin D. because we spend a lot of time these days working remotely or working whatever. We spend a lot of time working at home at our desks anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not, it used to be when we were growing up in the 70s and the 80s, we played outside. That's what we did. There was nothing else. I mean, we played outside and we played outside until it was dark and we were, told to come in. And now even the kids they're gaming, they're on their TVs, they're on their computers, they're on their phones, and they aren't interacting with nature like we did so many years ago. And that's because life is changing. But we've got to take a moment and put our feet in the grass because we need to renew our spirit. So I would say a life-changing event that you could go to that doesn't break your budget. You can make payments or do anything like that, anything, not just my retreats. Do something outside of your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Do something outside of your ordinary. And give yourself there is so much out there. There are so many experiences, so many opportunities. And I'm not even just talking about my retreats. I mean, step outside. Go rent some, let's see, those water wave riders, something. Just go do that. And that's something you never do. Or, just do something you normally don't do.
Yeah.
And then come to me and tell me about that. Because I guarantee you're going to have a sense of renewal just from trying something new.
Yeah. And I love that you said a sense of renewal, right? Because we all need that so much more than we know, right? And I like how you talked about getting out in the sunshine. Not only it just feels good, right? It's lighter, it makes you feel better, but vitamin D is proven to do so many healing things for you. One of them is to help improve your mood, right?
Right.
So it's like it's so key to get out of those four walls as you're working, if it's in an office or at home, but to get out of those four walls and to go just experience life. I know and my son has really made me more aware of the beautiful things outside, right? But watching like a butterfly just fly, it seems so menial, right? But it's so beautiful, and it really is so big and so profound when you really start to really pay attention, because you start to recognize like, wow, the wonders of life and how good things really are,
Right. Sometimes we take our group to there's a butterfly sanctuary in Costa Rica, and you can actually go into this shielded area where they live in natural sunlight, and they're beautiful blue, big blue monarch looking butterflies. They're native to this area, and they are so beautiful and vibrant. And you can go in there and you can sit amongst the butterflies and have one land on your nose, or you can see them up close and just sit, and they'll float around you and stop and smell the roses. You don't have to be at a butterfly sanctuary, because right outside your home there's beautiful flowers.
Yeah.
There's beautiful things to see. Take a walk around the block. You'll see something.
Yeah, for sure. I can remember just going outside to take a walk, just taking a break. In the morning before I was getting my day started, I had dropped my son off at school. This was last season. It was like when the spring was coming in, and I was walking and found patches of honeysuckle bushes. That made me so happy. You have no idea.
And you wouldn't have seen those
No.
if you didn't take that walk.
No, and literally right around the corner from my house.
Wow.
Right? So if I wasn't walking, I wouldn't have known that they were there. I'm a little bit newer to this area, but I wouldn't have known that they were there. And it brought me so much joy, because it took me back to childhood for one, right? And just the smell of it just like made me come alive, And you just start to appreciate a lot more when you stop and just take a look at. I love that you talk about nature, because when you stop to take a look at nature, like, oh, it wakes you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, nature is very healing,
Yeah.
and it's the very essence of who we are and who we come, where we come from.
Yeah.
And if we can step back, and when I say renewal, I mean step back like you're in a cocoon and go back to nature.
Mm.
It's very healing.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, and that goes back to, it's one of the reasons why butterflies are my favorite, because of how they transform. You know, how they go from the caterpillar to the butterfly. Um, but yeah, I had a friend here this past weekend, and she just has this amazing spirit and energy. And she went outside in my backyard, and she was grounding in the morning before anybody else in the house got up. But when she left, we were starting to see like spiders and things on the door. There's ants kind of around the patio. And I was telling my son this morning, I'm like, it's all that amazing energy that she has. I'm like, they're looking for her because she was out there, like how you
Yeah.
bring a certain energy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But it makes a difference. It makes a difference. So talk to us about what's to come in Machu Picchu, and then also, because I know that that's like right here, what comes after that and how people can connect and get involved.
Okay, so Machu Picchu is happening this weekend. They're gonna have the best excursions ever. Get to go to Machu Picchu Village and really experience the indigenous people right up close.
Mm-hmm.
A shaman will come and make drums with them, and they'll have a drum circle, and they'll have fire ceremonies and all those wonderful things that you just can't get anywhere else. And so it's a wonderful place for those types of things to happen. When this event ends, it's going to end on the 8th, on the 17th. After that, we will start promoting some more events in Costa Rica. Okay. And the best time to go to Costa Rica is next month until May. Mm. So we're going to be going at the best time of the year. Mm-hmm. And we're going to make sure that we create a lot of experiences for people. Now, not only the ones that you see on the website, we can work with people if they wanted to facilitate their own retreat down there. They could contact us through the contact us form, and we can create any experience they want in Costa Rica around whatever their mighty message is. And then we add to the flavor with all of the activities, and we always cater towards the message, the mighty message.
Amen. And they can go to your website, and that's pattiesadler.com.
Yep.
All right. So I'm going to put that up here because I want to make sure that people get that. If you want to look into any of the retreats that Pattie is hosting, you can go right to her website. And you can register for those retreats, or like she said, put your information in the contact her so that you can get your own retreat started, and she can help you facilitate that. So that is absolutely amazing too. So I wanted you to kind of give the other location also. I know that you do some there as well.
Next year we have a couple of retreats we're going to do in Ireland, and we do those every other year. Those are really, really special. One of them is focused towards authors, and we take authors over there and we get them launched into an international bookstore, Charlie Burns in Galway. There's pub visits, there's shopping, there's going to the Cliffs of Moher, and just, some real fun Irish activities that we participate in. There's a little hill there that's a fairy hill that they have built fairy houses everywhere, and they believe in the fairies. And it's just a very lively activity. To get to go to Ireland is really fun. It's a little bit different than the Costa Rica and the Machu Picchu vibe. But these are mostly for authors. And we're also doing another one that's for another client who is doing a Your Trueness project. And she's going to be facilitating healing and different things like that. And we have some wonderful places where we can do that. And we last year, or the year before last, when we went during the solstice, so we got to celebrate that as well.
Mhm.
But you have the woolly jumpers, the sheep, and you have the horses that are so magnificent and just so tall and just astounding white beautiful creatures. And the home that we go to, it's 300 years old, and it's 200 acres, and it's right on there's a little lake in the middle of it with motorboats and fun things that we can do, and then there's horses and woolly jumpers everywhere. It's just really magical.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like it. I
Yeah.
can't wait to join you on one of those after my baby, he's not a baby anymore, but after he graduates.
Oh, it's magical.
Yes, it sounds magical. So talk to us about, and I know we mentioned this a little bit before, but just the importance of connecting with oneself and doing, you talked about something like this. I'm going to say to go on one of your retreats, right? Like just being able to do that, stepping outside of your quote unquote normal.
Yeah, come play with me, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of amazing benefits. And I love playfulness,
Mm,
because I think being playful in life, we get so serious
yeah.
and we get so stuck in that hamster wheel. Stepping outside of the norm and doing something for ourselves is not selfish.
Mm,
It's not selfish to take a trip somewhere and to budget for that and plan on going next year or whenever, or just all of a sudden deciding to go. It's not selfish. What it does is it renews your spirit. It gives you some tools in your tool belt to go through whatever it is you're going through. It gives you the opportunity to overcome and become stronger and realize your true value and what you really can accomplish in life.
yeah.
But it's not selfish to want to do something for yourself. And it's about healing and moving to the next level and raising your vibration. It's just all of those things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what would you say to, because I heard you say this, and I used to think this was woo woo before I started, doing some self development and transforming my own
Right.
life.
Yeah.
But you said to raise the vibration, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, and for those of us, and I'm including myself in that because I didn't know what that was up until probably 11 years ago. But so for those of us who are just used to that cycle again, right? Being able to get out of our own way and start to raise the vibration. Talk to us about what it is and why it's important.
All right, let's go back to the first topic that we were even talking about, was our self-talk and the way we
Yeah.
talk to ourselves. Everything on this earth is run through a vibration. There is a vibration, there is a sonic vibration to everything. There is a megahertz. There is, those sounds that are most enlightening to us. They call it the heavenly megahertz and those different things. But everything vibrates on a certain level. And I don't know, there's this show out there that just came out on one of the channels, and it has animals, and they have sonar microphones where you could actually see the waves where the noise would go, and it would go for miles out, the ripple effect of the sound itself, of the animals and different things like that. Our heartbeats, that's a vibration. It's a vibrational movement. Our bodies are made from energy. So when we do the negative self-talk and the language, it hurts our spirit and it brings the vibration down.
Yeah.
We want to be vibrating, working on being at the highest vibration possible. When you do a drum circle, you feel the heart, you feel the beat of the drum on you. It raises your vibration. There's certain tools that we can use to raise the vibration. But when we get in nature and we are soaked in it and we are doing things that we haven't done before and we are overcoming and we realize what our potential is, our vibration is soaring. And when it's soaring like that, we are at our highest and best.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
it's easy for someone to go to a retreat and think, well, I'm going to go home and just going to get back to normal. But if you are going and you're receiving an experience that and different tools to take home in your tool belt to be able to anchor from those memories and those experiences that you had,
Yeah.
then it's powerful because you can take that with you and you can use that for your tool belt for healing yourself.
Yeah. And I love that you started talking about sound, because I often wonder, at what points did we as human beings stop listening? Like every other living creature on this earth responds to sound in a big way, right? So I always wonder, like, why did we stop paying attention to that? Why did we stop listening? I know I do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's it's just so magnificent when you really think about it, right? But it's like we have so much at our exposure. And I think we talked about this last time, right? There's so much at our exposure. And sound is one of those things that is huge. It's healing. It's, once you start to increase the vibration, like your creativity, your productivity, like goes through the roof, your mood, like everything starts
Yes.
to change. And it's something that's so readily available,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That we don't utilize, and every other creature on earth does, right?
Right.
So I love that you talk about sound, and I again, I'm gonna be really transparent, because I know there's some people out there who are thinking like me. I used to think was woo woo, right? That's what they used to call
Yeah.
it back
Yeah.
in the day. For me,
Yes.
growing up, it was woo woo. It's not.
We
Yeah,
respond to our environment. And I think our environment has gotten so loud and noisy with technology and the vibration of technology itself that we don't put ourselves in nature enough so that we can feel the true vibration of life.
yeah, yeah. Oof. Circle of life, right? From the Lion King, just makes me think about the circle of life, but how very important that is, and how true, and how everything is necessary, and everything was really put here for us,
Yes.
to utilize for the betterment of ourselves. So I'm just so grateful for you. You have any
Okay.
last words that you want
No,
to tell?
just reach out to me and let's talk about opportunities and talk
Yeah,
about your experience in life and what it is you're looking for to experience, and let's make it happen. Let's go play together. Just
yeah.
send me contact me through the contact form at pattiesadler.com and let's talk.
Yeah, I love that. I love let's go play together.
Let's
We need
do.
more, yeah, we need more fun and more smiles, just like the man that you described who came on one of your retreats and just
Yeah.
couldn't stop smiling. We need a lot more of that in life. So everybody out there, listen, go to pattiesadler.com, connect with her, just get in touch with yourself, right? And connect with her and start to do, what you thought that you just couldn't, right? It is possible. It is all possible. So we
If nothing
appreciate.
else, let's connect with each other and just talk about where you want to be and where you are right now. I mean, I
Yeah.
love the network. So let's get together and talk about those things. I think we got stuck.
All right. I'm not sure what happened there. I just switched my internet. It got to the very end though. So there we go.
Perfect timing, actually.
Perfect timing. So we appreciate you, everyone. Just make sure that you get in contact with Pattie, as she mentioned. Go play with her, as she said, right? PattieSadler.com. We appreciate you all out there. We appreciate you, Pattie. Thank you, everyone, for being with us. Make sure that you tune in next week right here on The Whole Living Show at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care and have an amazing evening.
Good night.